Who owns the mobile? Who owns the SIM? What security have I got for my information on that SIM? No. I control that. I control all that. I control all that data on that chip. Why would I trust a telco, for example?
Well, for instance, the Sweden government does the bank. Why do they should trust the bank also? It's the same question.
No, I think you're mixing up. I think you're mixing things up there. The bank ID product is not a travel document. End of story. Full stop. It's not travel. If you tried to travel with a bank ID card from Sweden coming to Portugal, they'd look at you and say, "Bye bye, go home. You haven't got a travel document." They wouldn't get through past the UK border. That's for sure. No, I understand where you're coming from, but I think you're mixing two things up. I don't personally think we're ready as a culture to accept you providing me with a silicon and me trusting you with the data that we've signed to say it's you on that bit of silicon. I'm a bit worried about that.
Today, perhaps, not more.
Who controls the silicon? No. Because I sign on that paper. I sign my name or I sign information. I can see it. On the silicon, I can't do that. Now, I don't mind owning that silicon and selling you space, but I own that silicon.
It's a matter of future.
I'm old. I'm going to retire. You can do it. I don't care.
Perhaps we can solve it.
Yeah. That was an unfair question. Let's talk about something else. Any other questions? Yeah. For the reason that my colleague over here has just highlighted, in that we need to be able to stop the search and understand who these people are. The biggest problem you have is to say, who are you and can you prove why you're here? You know, we have a major problem in the UK with immigrants, illegal immigrants. No one honestly knows how many people we have in the country that are there illegally. And it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people. So we need to be able to find who these people are and either A, send them home, wherever home is, or make sure we know who they are and they're paying taxes.
So the question is why the contact chip.
Oh, sorry. Okay, why is there a contact chip on there? There's not a contact chip on there, there's just a plate. But why is there a plate, this question? Right, okay. We have publicly said that we would be putting PIN onto our ID card. So currently for PIN in like CAP, the EMV CAP, you need to have a contact product. But when we launched our ID card and also the ICFN, the identification card for foreign nationals, there was no protection profile in place for a dual interface chip. Now there are protection profiles in place for dual interface products, which we can use. In fact, we actually wrote our own dual interface protocol. So we will be introducing a dual interface product probably in 2010 or 2011, which will have a PIN on it. So we'll use it as a remote authentication. Good.
So, thank you for you. You are the light on the top of tunnel in Europe. And I suppose the mandatory SPOX technology in 2015 is a very long time.
Yeah.
Not for the
I think the residence permit is a good example, but what we have to also to bear in mind is there's not a lot of political pressure for that, because undoubtedly there's a hacker. The trouble with the residence permit is it's not a travel document in Europe. What it's used for, it's used to support your travel document within Europe. But it's not a travel document per se. So although it can be used to support and prove your identity, it's not a travel document. And you notice that there, the R, that's been agreed as being the European residence permit mark. So that basically is a trigger to border control readers to say, R, not a travel document, residence permit. Now, what is voluntary, if you like, within a country is what you put behind that. Because the question you should be asking me is, if this is EAC compliant, does this actually have the same trust hierarchy as a travel document? Answer is no for data, but yes for verification of the terminal. So what that means is that this product, although it's not a travel document, and in theory your border control would still validate it as under passive authentication, it couldn't authenticate it as being genuine UK product because it won't authenticate against a country signing certificate. But if we were doing exchange of EAC for the certificates for DV and ISs, this would authenticate that person's finger images. So under the EAC approach for terminal authentication, this would enable that holder to prove their finger identity to whoever was inspecting it, but not to use for travel. And I think that's a way in which the residence permit is going to go across Europe if they follow that particular approach. That's a different issue of when that's going to be coming to play. And I think you're right. That could drive it through. Any other questions? Or are we dried up? We're dried out. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention.